Raphinha is enjoying the best season of his career under Hansi Flick, so much so that he has quickly emerged as a popular contender for this year's Ballon d'Or. Just last summer, however, things weren't looking too good for the Brazilian winger. Barcelona's previous season had been disappointing, marred by financial struggles, lackluster on-pitch performances, and 0 trophies. Individually, Raphinha also had little to celebrate, as despite showing flashes of quality, then-manager Xavi didn't view him as a key player and oversaw him completing the full 90 minutes on just 6 occasions. So, after 2 years of inconsistency and the club pursuing Euro 2024 sensation Nico Williams, many expected him to be sold. Fast forward to now, and Raphinha has reached 28 goals in all competitions, 8 more than in his first 2 seasons at Barca combined. Overall, he has been involved in a staggering 50 of Barca's 146 goals, more than even Robert Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal. In fact, only Mohamed Salah has recorded more goals and assists in all competitions. So, how did Raphinha go from being overlooked to arguably Barcelona's standout player this season? Tactical adjustments have arguably been the most pivotal in Raphinha's transformation. In his first 2 seasons at Barca, he often played on the right wing. But while this was his preferred position, he struggled to find his rhythm. At his previous clubs, Raphinha thrived in wide open spaces and was a key player in counterattacks. However, since Barca often play against defenses who like to sit back and form low blocks, their wingers are required to play with more patience and intricacy, which didn't quite suit his style. His struggles were exacerbated by the rise of Lamine Yamal, a dynamic dribbler capable of wriggling his way through deep defenses, who claimed the right wing position and forced him to move to the left, where he was less comfortable. Truth be told, a traditional winger's role didn't seem to suit him at all, because unlike Yamal or the Messi of old, he doesn't excel in one-on-one situations. However, Raphinha's fortunes changed completely last summer with the arrival of Flick, who, upon hearing of Brazil's early exit from the Copa America, called Raphinha to advise him not to make any hasty decisions about his future before reporting for preseason training. Raphinha would later reveal in an interview that it was this conversation that ultimately convinced him to stay. That wasn't the only confidence boost he received that summer either, as he was named one of the 5 club captains following a vote by his teammates in August, an acknowledgement of his leadership and standing within the team. And so, this prompted him to rethink his approach and recognize the need for adaptation if he wanted to succeed at the club. Now, although still on paper the left-sided winger in Flick's 4-2-3-1 formation, Raphinha thrives as a floating forward. He no longer stays wide or relies on dribbling as much as before. Instead, he frequently roams all across the forward line, drifts inside to participate in the build-up, and makes darting runs beyond Lewandowski, who often drifts right to create space for Raphinha to attack centrally. From there, the Brazilian becomes a constant menace, ghosting between defenders and skillfully timing his runs behind the back line. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future videos. Raphinha's free roaming has 2 key effects. Firstly, it creates space for his teammates to exploit. Opponents are drawn away from Yamal on his left, while Lewandowski, no longer the physical force he once was, can work in the small pockets of space that open up around the edge of the penalty box. Secondly, it brings Raphinha himself into more dangerous positions, evidenced by the fact that he is shooting as much as in previous seasons but from more central areas and closer to the goal. When it comes to assists, Raphinha's numbers are ever so slightly down compared to last season, but this decline is more about his teammates' finishing than his creativity, as his expected assists per 90 minutes have risen significantly. Arguably the continent's best creator right now, Raphinha also leads the top 5 leagues in chances created, big chances, and open play chances. To play against him this season is to be haunted by his driving runs and curling left-footed crosses, as well as his ability to challenge some of the world's best defenders. To watch our breakdown of Barca's new game plan under Hansi Flick, click the first link in the description or the card in the top right corner. Raphinha's Champions League campaign in itself is already historic, boasting 19 goal involvements in just a little over 1,000 minutes. In fact, if you exclude penalties, which seems fair since he isn't Barca's designated penalty taker, Raphinha's total is already the best return by a Barca player in a single Champions League season. However, it's not just the numbers that are defining his European campaign. It's his ability to shine on the biggest stage with game-changing moments. In the group stage, he scored a famous hat-trick in Barca's 4-1 victory over Bayern Munich, the club's Achilles heel in past seasons, and also netted the match-winning goal against Benfica in the first leg of the last 16, despite his side playing with 10 men from the 22nd minute. And recently, in the quarterfinal first leg against Dortmund, he once again showed why he's a player for the big occasion with 1 goal and 2 assists in a 4-0 thrashing. Brazilian attackers have long established a formidable legacy at Barcelona, with the standout names being Romario, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, and Neymar. Just a year ago, if you had asked Barca fans whether Raphinha could one day join this elite group, you would have been ridiculed. Today, however, that question doesn't seem so far-fetched. This season, Raphinha has already surpassed Romario and Ronaldo in total goals and assists for the Blaugrana. Granted, those two legends had shorter stints at the club, but longevity has its advantages, and if Raphinha can maintain this level of performance for another season or two, he will be edging closer to the stats of Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and Neymar. Greatness, of course, is not solely defined by statistics. It also encompasses intangibles like feeling, connection, and context, which are all derived from the eye test. Ronaldinho's joyous style, for instance, won over the Catalan crowd in ways that numbers can't capture. Romario brought charisma to a beloved squad, while Rivaldo guided Barca through a challenging transitional period with grace and determination. Neymar starred in what many consider to be the greatest front three in football history. Even Ronaldo, who left after just 1 year to join Real Madrid, is held in high esteem. This isn't meant to undermine Raphinha. Rather, it strengthens his case as his starting position as an underdog makes his current status at the club all the more impressive. And while he may adopt a more business-like approach than, say, Ronaldinho, fans value his grit and dedication just as much as his teammates do. As this season unfolds, much is still at stake. Barcelona remain in contention for 3 competitions and has a genuine shot at a historic treble, especially if their number 11 continues to shine like the legendary Brazilians who came before him. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to hit notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.